Okay, guys, let's solve some intercepts from equations. So we know that if the x-intercept is there, that means it does not connect with the y-axis at all. So remember, this is x. Guess I gotta get my pen here. This is x and this is y. Anytime we have an x-intercept, our y is 0. Anytime we have a y-intercept, our x is going to be 0. So let's plug y in for 0 and solve for our x-intercept. They have y is equal to 6x plus 13. Since it's the x-intercept, I know that y is 0. So I'm going to plug in my 0 and say that it's equal to 6x plus 13. The opposite of a positive 13 or adding 13 is to subtract 13 from here, subtract 13 from here. My 13's cancel out, and I'm left with negative 13 is equal to 6 times x. The opposite of multiplying by 6 is to divide by 6 on both sides. My 6's cancel out, and I'm left with x is equal to negative 13 over 6. So x is negative 13 over 6. Y was 0 for that part. And I do the same thing to solve for my y-intercept. When I have my y-intercept, I know that x has to be 0. So now I have y is equal to 6 times 0 plus 13. 6 times 0 is 0 plus 13. 0 plus 13 is 13. So I know that my y-intercept is 13. So I type it over here, 0 in the first blank, and a 13 in the second blank. I'm going to try to make a little more space this time and try to use my stuff wisely here. So remember, anytime we have the y-intercept, I know that my x has to be 0. Anytime that I have my x-intercept, I know that my y has to be 0. So we can go from there. I'm going to first start off by trying to solve for my y-intercept. So I have 3x plus 2y is equal to 5. Since I'm trying to find my y-intercept, I know that I need to plug a 0 in for my x. So now I have 3 times 0 plus 2 times y is equal to 5. 3 times 0 is 0, plus 2y is equal to 5. This 0 is just nothing, so that's basically 2y is equal to 5. The opposite of multiplying by 2 is to divide both sides by 2. This cancels out, and I know that y is equal to 5 halves. So I go right up here, and my y-intercept is 5 halves. I'm now going to solve for my x-intercept. Anytime I have my x-intercept, I know that my y is equal to 0. So I have 3x plus 2y equals 5. And remember, because I'm doing my my x-intercept, I have to plug in 0 for y. So now I have 3x plus 2 times 0 equals 5. I know that 2 times 0 is 0, so now I have 3x plus 0 equals 5, or just 3x equals 5. The opposite of multiplying by 3 is to divide by 3 on both sides. My 3's cancel out, and I'm left with x is equal to 5 thirds. So I go right back over here, and I type in 5 thirds. I don't know why all this didn't erase. Over here, the same thing is happening again. I'm trying to find my y-intercept and my x-intercept. Anytime I'm looking for my y-intercept, I know that my x has to be 0. Anytime I'm looking for my x-intercept, I know that my y has to be 0. So let's start this thing off here. I'm going to find my y-intercept. I know my x is 0, so I have y minus 6 is equal to 4 times x plus 5. We said that x was 0, so I'm going to plug in an x, at 0 for my x. 0 plus 5 is 5. So now I have 4 times 5 is equal to y minus 6. 4 times 5 is 20. So now I have y minus 6 is equal to 20. The opposite of subtracting 6 is to add 6 on both sides. My 6's cancel out, and I'm left with y is equal to 26. So I know here my y is 26. Same thing with my x, except for this time I'm plugging in 0 for y. Same equation, y minus 6 is equal to 4 times x plus 5. 0 goes for my y, so now I have 0 minus 6 is equal to 4 times x plus 5. 0 minus 6, that is just negative 6, is equal to 4 times x plus 5. I'm actually going to distribute my 4. 4 times x is 4x plus 4 times 5 is 20 is equal to negative 6. The opposite of adding 20 is to subtract 20 from here. Subtract 20 from here. My 20s cancel out. Negative 6 minus 20 gives me a negative 26 is equal to 4x. The opposite of multiplying by 4 is to divide both sides by 4. And I'm left with x is equal to negative 26 over 4, which is something I could reduce if I'd like. Let's see if they'll take it just like this. 0 goes here. We said there was a 26 that goes here. Negative, something's telling me they're going to make me reduce it, but we'll try it anyway. Negative 26 over 4 goes here, and a 0 goes here. Let's go for it. Up, we have to reduce it. My negative 26, what did I just do? Oh my goodness, I think I broke it. See if I can go back. And all my work is gone. Oh no. Well, remember we had 0 here and a 26 here. We had a 0 here, and then we were trying to put negative 26 over 4 here, but they wanted us to reduce it. So we're going to take our negative 26 over 4, and we're going to divide the top by 2 and the bottom by 2. 26 divided by 2 gives me 13. 4 divided by 2 gives me 2. So negative 13 over 2. Last one. See if I can erase this thing. Okay. When I'm finding my x-intercept, I know that my y has to be 0. When I'm finding my y-intercept, I know that my x has to be 0. So I start there and I plug this stuff in. I want to find my x-intercept first. So y is equal to negative 9x minus 14. I'm going to take out my y and put in a 0. 0 is equal to negative 9x minus 14. The opposite of a negative 14, or the opposite of subtracting 14, is to add 14 here, add 14 here. My 14's cancel out, and I'm left with 14 is equal to negative 9x. The opposite of multiplying by negative 9 is to divide by negative 9 on both sides. My 9's cancel out, and I'm left with negative 14 ninths is equal to x. I'm going to go ahead and type that in up here. Negative 14 ninths and a 0 there. And now I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to go ahead and plug in my 0 here. When we find the y-intercept, remember we have to plug in a 0 for our x. So I have y is equal to negative 9x minus 14. I take out the x and I put in a 0. So negative 9 times 0 minus 14. Negative 9 times 0 is just 0. 0 minus 14 is negative 14. So I know that y equals negative 14. And we are finished.